The following podcast is scheduled for one fall. From the heart of Broadway in historic downtown Cape Girardeau, this is Pro Wrestling Unscripted. Tonight's episode of Pro Wrestling Unscripted is brought to you by 1-900-490-FREAK. No, it's not. All right. I don't know. There's something happening down at the end of the table. Hey, it's Pro Wrestling Unscripted here on the Podzilla 1985 network. My name is Freddie Freaker. I'm going to be your host for tonight. Down at the end of the table is Freddie Freaker. We're not going to do that. I'm Shannon Young. 5-star man, Ace of Grey down at the end of the table.
Yes.
Although maybe I should go by Freddie Freaker now just to, like, because it's going to get weird at some point if anyone does go to CCW and then they listen to the show. The rumors were true. Everything we were told would happen has come to prophecy. Ali Abe's here. Speaking of prophecy.
What?
And the big D Dalton A-Bear, Anthony.
What the
What?
fuck? So in your weird fucked up world, we were getting married and I took her last name.
Well, I mean, come on. If you were going to get married to Allie, wouldn't you take her last name?
Yeah, Anthony's a weird last name.
It is. Yeah. No one likes it. I did a poll. Everyone said so. We are going to talk. I know you're thinking like, whoa, which weird show did I tune into tonight? No, this is Pro Wrestling Unscripted. We are going to talk about wrestling. And it was actually a pretty eventful week for wrestling, Asa, because not only do we have the Royal Rumble on Sunday, but there have been just a ton of news of people leaving WWE.
A lot of people being signed as well.
Yeah, it's a smorgasbord of information. And let's start off with probably the biggest rutabaga in the entire garden, and that is that Dean Ambrose is rumored, and not just rumored, it's flat out being said that Dean Ambrose is leaving WWE after WrestleMania. And not only are the dirt sheets talking about it, but also WWE.com itself has released that information. And the moment that they did, all of the ears went up and went, because now everybody's going conspiracy. What do you think?
My gut reaction, like my first instinct, is that this is all like a super elaborate work. Because it's a really weird one. Like, this is one of those things where it's like, if it ends up being all just a storyline and he stays, I wouldn't be surprised. If he does actually end up leaving,
you wouldn't be surprised?
I also wouldn't be surprised. Because I think both. I am not one of those people who, because like if you go online, especially like the subreddit, it's like it's either 50-50, and those people are super entrenched in their own camps, and they think the other group is just flat out stupid.
Right.
And it's kind of hilarious to see play out. Because on the one hand, this could very well just be like, nope, he's not happy. He's burnt out. He went from being like WWE's workhorse for years to getting injured and now having to come back and just kind of do this hokey stuff that he doesn't want to do. And he's not happy with his character and direction. So he's giving them notice that he's not re-signing his contract, because this isn't him asking for a release.
We'll get to that in a second.
This is just straight up him like saying, I'm not going to resign.
And that sounds a lot like something Dean Ambrose would do.
I mean, it sounds like what a professional would do. And so, not to say that when we talk about Itami here, he's being unprofessional, but like,
right.
No, he's giving them plenty of notice that like, hey, I'm not going to resign. And so when that rumor spread, WWE then puts out a statement to get ahead of all of because with AEW, these are the rumors that are going crazy. You know, you had the Mike and Maria Kanellis, you had you like everybody.
It's a whole new world.
Yeah, there's so many people that's like, oh, they're gonna ask for the release, they're gonna jump ship. Like, oh, Dean Ambrose is jumping ship. Like, you have those rumors. This way, WWE gets ahead of that narrative. Hey, John Good is not re-signing his contract. There's no hard we wish him well. But his contract expires in April and whatever. But then you also have this idea that I was talking about on Sunday of like, this is the new kind of like kayfabe. This is the new kayfabe. Because everyone knows wrestling it's a show, it's scripted,
it's entertainment.
Yeah, you see Austin Creed playing video games with Randy Orton on YouTube now.
Right.
Like, look at those characters now, and if that was happening in the 80s, like,
those guys probably would have been
they wouldn't have traveled together. They
right.
would have never like been in the same building as each other if it wasn't a show.
Thank God social media didn't just suddenly come into like prominence in the 80s. You know, like all of a sudden one day it's like, hey, there's this thing called Facebook now. why is Hulk Hogan and the $1 Million Man friends?
Why is this picture of Hulk Hogan and the $1 Million Man at a bar together?
Right.
And they're not bashing like glass over each other's head.
Right.
So this is like, I think this could be like the new level of kayfabe. You turn this because like his heel run has been a bust, which sucks. Because like we really haven't gotten a taste of
what he can do.
Of heel Dean Ambrose, heel John Max, whatever you want to call it.
It started I thought.
It did, and then it immediately went to the
gas mask.
Everything
the gas mask was kind of
this city smells bad.
There
like,
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this could be a way of them kind of like. I could see them either trying to turn him face, kind of like the CM Punk anti-authority,
the Summer Punk type thing.
Summer Punk type thing.
Yeah.
Or it could be if he tries to I don't know what stakes there are for him to leave that WWE would be desperate for him to stay. But like I could almost see, especially after the promo we got on Monday where we got Papa H, like we got NXT Proud Dad Triple H on Raw finally with Seth Rollins, and then Ambrose comes out and ruins that. So I mean that's felt like that could be setting up a feud, but having face Triple H and heel Dean Ambrose.
Right.
So I'm not willing to say that it's definitely one or the other at this point. But
what about you, Dalton? What do you think?
I am 100% sure that this is a work.
You believe 100% this is a work?
Like there's literally no reason that WWE would be posting about this. Unless they
other than the one I just gave.
Well, like I literally do not think that they would even be drawing attention to it if that was the case. Mm-hmm. Like they've never drawn attention to it before. Unless they know it's a storyline thing. Yes, the CM Punk thing, he apparently signed the contract the day of, but they had a contingency plan either way. Whereas this one is just like, they're saying it 3-4 months out.
But do you think that's the AEW influence? That, like, legitimately, if he is leaving, that they are... Because they know everyone's going to be talking about AEW. That's what's on everybody's list. Do you think AEW has changed the game enough that WWE will now... actively talk about these things beforehand?
Because they will never mention AEW by name.
No.
But again, this could very well just be like the new style of storytelling for them. Or it also could be like, okay, yeah, no, this is legit, but we are not going to let those rumors go of he's jumping ship to AEW. We're just saying, yep, he's going. That's fine. Like,
see, I don't even think they would say that. I think the way that they do things, this is very much just a dog show. We're putting this out there. This is part of the entertainment because WWE they don't talk about contracts ever. Like they'll say we release these people. They don't say, oh well, their contract lapsed in April and they're not going to renew. We're just letting you know now 4 months out that like, hey, I hope you enjoy Dean Ambrose while you will because he's not coming back. They don't do that. Ever, and if they do, guess what? It's part of a storyline. Last time they did that, CM Punk. It was part of a storyline. This is this just reeks of storyline. If it was, and it's also one of those things of like the new kayfabe. Like Eric Bischoff talks about that in 83 Weeks, and I think Bruce Pritchard even talks about it in Something to Wrestle With about Meltzer. Like, yeah, we had stooges. We had stooges that would tell Meltzer incorrect stuff. Just so he would be like, because like Meltzer does get a lot right, but he also does get a decent amount wrong. And like back in the 80s and 90s, they did that too. This is that. Just now it's dialed up to 10 because it is a lot easier to get that information.
I hate that too because like the only reason that Eric Bischoff hates Meltzer is because he wrote that book, The Death of WCW. He didn't write that book.
No, that was R.D. Reynolds.
Yeah. No, but he thought it was Meltzer for a long time.
Yeah,
so
but
he
always.
I didn't know that.
But it's also worth noting that anytime Meltzer does get stuff wrong, and the stuff that he's not like 100%, he qualifies like, hey, I don't know this for certain. And even if I do, like, stuff can, like, there's always plans that can change.
Yeah.
But then he also will go back and be like, oh, hey, by the way, so I thought this was going to happen, and instead this is what happened. Here's what I know, and I'm going to correct myself.
It's hard to be a wrestling journalist. I feel like this is one topic I feel like I'm kind of qualified to talk about, just the journalism part. Because journalism, the things that I learned in journalism school, because I did go to college for it, was you talk to sources, you cite your sources, you report on the events, and not often do you get like this intricate of, okay, I'm not supposed to know this and I'm going to bust this story out and I can't really name my sources, because you see that a lot in politics and stuff where every day it's a new White House. This is what's happening in the White House. I can't tell you who said it, but here's what's going on. But I do find what Dalton said to be. I kind of believe him because two questions about it. One, if it's not an angle, why drag Dean Ambrose through the mud like they have the past couple days? Like, it almost feels like they're trying to embarrass him on his way out, which is something that they sometimes do where they'll
which is absolutely a WWE move.
Right. They knock your stock down. So that way, if you do go to AEW, oh, you're the guy that got beat up by Nia Jax, stuff like that.
Which is real quick. I hate that that's how it's being presented. Dean Ambrose got beat up by Nia Jax. No, Dean Ambrose took one shot and he went through the ropes. That was it.
He didn't get laid out.
Yeah, he wasn't laid out. He didn't need her finisher. Like, it was.
But the second thing is like, why just Dean Ambrose? Why didn't they do this for Hideo Itami is leaving? Is it because they don't see as much value? Did they post it? I don't know.
They acknowledged that he asked for his release and he was granted it.
Oh, see, I did not know that.
Because Hideo Itami did not say, "Hey, my contract is up. I'm not going to resign."
He just requested to leave.
He asked to be to be released from his contract, and WWE granted him that release.
So that's a different situation because
a whole you can't compare those two.
Yeah, that's true. I can't think of anyone else that.
And honestly, like Dean Ambrose has been like the three Shield guys. Like, we're in the Shield era now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was Stone Cold and The Rock, it was Cena and Orton, and now it's the Shield.
See, I think we're past the Shield era.
I mean, we're moving past the Shield era, but it's mostly because now Roman's gone.
Yeah.
And now potentially we're losing Ambrose. So
and even if we don't lose Ambrose, it's not like they've done much with him. Yeah. Whereas Seth Rollins he's had the rocket strapped to him almost since the beginning, to be fair.
Which, I mean, all three of them have, just to
right.
But you could make the argument that Dean Ambrose to the lesser extent, because it's easy to forget. He was the biggest name on SmackDown for more than a year.
I think Dean Ambrose is definitely the one that got treated the worst, because Roman was obviously treated golden. Even though he lost a lot, to be fair, he was treated like the biggest deal ever.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins has been treated like the biggest deal ever. And then Dean Ambrose, even though he did well, he never felt like they were treating him like that. Like, even when he was the workhorse and he was champion, he just didn't feel as big of a deal as the other two guys, which is unfair because at one point, Dean Ambrose was my favorite of the three.
Yeah. And like I said, I think this is their way of, and you're never going to be able to get rid of the speculation of AEW or even like Impact or New Japan or wherever else he may choose to go. Or maybe he is just like burnt out on wrestling and he's done.
Yeah.
Which is also a possibility. But I do think that now we are at a point where AEW is such a buzz thing. Now if you get out ahead of it and just be like, and they've never done it before. There's not a precedent to it. But just because they've never done it before doesn't mean that they will never do it. Mm-hmm. So that's why, and again, I also think that it very possible, my first reaction was, Cody put it in the group chat, and my response was the gif of Rihanna, work. Well, because that's very much kind of what it feels like. But
go ahead, Allie.
They used his real name, which is something they
have done that before. Like
when they're really dipping into the is this real territory?
Well, that, but also if they not when they release someone, but not when someone requests a release or they just kind of future endeavor them, but when they are actively fired.
Yeah, like when they
Enzo Amore.
Yeah, Enzo. I think they gave that to Rich Swann too.
Ken Kennedy. I remember when he got fired, they put his real name on there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Dean isn't being fired.
Which again, I think that's kind of evidenced both ways.
Right.
To me, it's oh no, again, new kayfabe. This is now, because now it's not, this person's a good guy, this person's a bad guy. Everyone's kind of in on it now. Now, especially for us internet nerds, it is contract stipulations. Who wants out to go to AEW?
Okay, but
who thinks that who's unhappy with their spot? That's all the.
So if let's say he really is leaving and this is them getting out ahead of it, what is the point of announcing it early? And let me ask why? Because if he is really leaving, and you announce ahead of time, hey, his contract is expiring at this time, he will not resign, we wish him the best of luck. To me, in a way, that just creates that, is he going to go to AEW? Whereas if you don't say anything about it, he has a no-compete clause, so he would be gone for 3 months at least, and you don't say his contract expires, even though it's going to leak out, but a majority of the fans won't know it. The people that look for it will. But if you don't create the circus around it, then he disappears for a couple months and he'll show up at AEW anyway. But now they're not anticipating it. They're not waiting for it at that point. Then it's more of Dean Ambrose is off TV. He shows up at AEW. It's a big surprise, but there aren't people that are actively waiting for that moment to happen. Do they shoot themselves in the foot by announcing this, or is it a smart move to kind of take the steam off of it and go, oh yeah, he's definitely leaving. You'll see him in AEW in a little while.
It's that, and it's also like you have the you have the advantage of, like you said, you kind of remove the steam of like, okay, well now his contract's up, but Dean Ambrose is a big enough, because I don't think they would do this for everybody. I don't think they would do this for Zack Ryder or Dolph Ziggler or even I'm trying to think of like a main event player that, like, even like a Drew McIntyre, maybe. Like, I don't know if they would do that, but Dean Ambrose is one of their like top 4 guys right now, top 5 guys. And I think that is what kind of giving this a special attention, because if that rumor hit that Dean Ambrose wasn't going to sign a new contract, that absolutely would get around. And that would filter into, even because that is a big enough name, like, oh, Ambrose isn't re-signing.
Right.
Like, that wouldn't just be like the thing we get every time where, oh, Ziggler's not going to re-sign his contract. Of course, that never happens. Like,
right.
There are people who are constantly, it seems like, have their foot out the door at any given point, but they always re-sign.
Right.
Ambrose has never been one of those guys.
Ziggler is the biggest example of that.
Ambrose is their workhorse. Ambrose was, again, he was running Smackdown for a long time. He feuded with Triple H coming out of the Rumble a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he had a WrestleMania match against Brock Lesnar.
Do you think this ties in?
He sure did.
Well,
But no, just like,
but on paper,
quality of match aside, like,
Right.
that's a huge deal. That's a WrestleMania. Now it's a main event because it's one of the featured matches.
I just had a good point. I think I've lost it.
Sorry.
Okay.
Doubt it.
So, do you think AEW was the catalyst for him to leave, though?
No.
And the reason I ask is he says, I hate doing hokey shit. Like, that is the rumor. He hates doing hokey shit. He doesn't want to be a part of it. We're acting like this is the hokey shit that he's sick of. I remember a time where he was spraying people with hot dog, mustard, and ketchup. And, like, was that not hokey enough for him to go?
I think that's...
Or is because now AEW is a viable option, he went, you know what? I can go there. Screw you guys. I'm going to AEW.
I need to find the tweet from Joey Ryan really quick.
He's going to be the king.
I saw that.
The first promotion to book
he's really going to love the first promotion.
Him versus Joey Ryan.
Because then it was just a shirt that said King of Hokey Shit.
King of Hokey Shit. I think, it's also very much could be just a straw that broke the camel's back situation. Because, when he was feuding with Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship when Rollins first turned, that was like he was hiding in boxes and spraying it with ketchup. And
but it was a main event program.
Right. And so that could have very well been kind of, like, I don't like doing this, but they keep telling me that, oh, well, it's going to get better. You're going to be doing, I'll owe you one, pal.
Yeah.
You could keep getting more and more and more stuff. But so that's a possibility. And it may be that AEW is now, and, he thinks that he will be not treated better, but like he will be given the stories that he wants to tell and the matches that he wants to give. Because he, go back to his podcast with Stone Cold that was on the network. Go back to, even though it was like mostly in character, but kind of not, his, what are they called when he came back and they did that whole, like, where they trained him or they filmed him like training
24/7.
I don't know if it was that though.
I'm on it.
But there's like a network special thing, and it might be a 24/7 where he comes back to say, when Seth Rollins brings him back in, but he even does where he's like, he talks about like, I don't care about money. I want to. He considers wrestling a work of art.
Yeah, he's doing it.
And
for
if
the
he
love
can
of
go
it,
back and point to a story or a match and be proud of that, that's what he does this for.
Right.
And if now that match is tainted by the story of having to, get vaccinated and, wear a gas mask, and that's not the type of storytelling he wants to give, that's going to taint his perception of the match itself.
Right.
So maybe he thinks there is a more viable option that will
It's Chronicle.
That's what I didn't.
Because Becky Lynch just did one that I wasn't a big fan of.
Really?
It was a very in character.
See, that's what this one was.
Yeah, like I don't like that for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but I watched Becky. But don't get me wrong, the Becky Lynch one was great just because it was. She was just shitting on everybody.
Yeah, but it also did the half and half of no, this is real life. Like oh yeah, you almost died. You had MRSA twice. Let's talk about that. I'm just getting frustrated with everyone telling me what to do. Yeah. I'm cleaning up other people's messes, and it's like, well, shit, is that like
real or fake?
You shooting on us there, brother?
Yeah. Well, if a brother,
but yeah, I mean, we'll find out in.
Don't work yourself into a.
We'll find out in May, like one way or the other.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
Now, if this because even honestly, even if this does lead to like a huge high profile match against Triple H, unless it's like career versus career or something like that, then I could see them. But at the same time, like, okay, well, you have this guy. Do you put him in a huge profile thing like that if he's on his way out? Or
well, plus, if he's not on his way out, if this is all part of a grand scheme work type thing, and I know I agree with you, he didn't get beat up by Nia Jax.
Yeah.
But like, why him at the expense? You know what I mean? Like, why is
it does
Dean Ambrose the one that got
does
punched?
kind of reek of that, how WWE treats people when they know they're either
going.
about to be released or.
But they could try to. I mean, it could be a fast one where they're. And I know I'm giving way too much credit, but where they're going, oh, see, now we're working the fans because they think we'd work them like this, but we'll work them like this, which is, you don't work yourself into a shoot work, brother. Like, it's genuinely intriguing.
It's the new kayfabe.
Yeah, and it's more intriguing than the stories they actually tell in wrestling. Like, I want to know what happens versus, like, I don't want to know what Baron Corbin does next week.
No, you mean
unless Baron Corbin got a new job at Amway, I don't care.
You don't want to know that the reason that Mandy Rose is trying to ruin Naomi's marriage is because when she was on Tough Enough, the judges she was a judge and she was mean to her, and that made her boyfriend leave her. So she ruined. So
first, I call bullshit because unless she's an awful person, no boyfriend would ever go, I'm getting tired of perfect.
No, see, it wasn't that. It was, wow, I thought you were perfect, but Team Bad said that you suck. I guess I'm out. I never saw that before.
Somehow I can no longer look past how amazing you are because all I can see is this taint.
Yeah. Oh, I wish.
Easy.
Jesus.
All right, let's. Dalton's off the show at this point. He's literally leaving. Let's move on to one we know is absolutely true, and this is legitimate, and that is Hideo Itami has asked for his release from WWE, as Asa mentioned earlier, has been granted it, and he's already changed his name back to Kenta. There was a huge thing where a bunch of people were thanking him. He seemed to have gone out very respectfully, and from what I heard, and this is just rumor, of course, but the reason for him wanting to go, a big reason of it is because his wife has not adapted to American life, and she misses Japan, and he wants to go back partly for his family.
See, I didn't see that at all. What I did see was they were talking about words are hard. How the reason that they granted his release is because he was not going to AEW. He was likely going back to Japan.
Right.
So that could possibly
they could all
line up
working
with that
together. Yeah. And I truly believe he won't go to AEW. I believe he will go back to Japan.
I could see him going there eventually, but I mean, I feel like we would probably, and he has it's the standard 90-day no compete. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where he does go because he wasn't, it's easy to assume that he was like, oh, he'll just go back to New Japan. He's never part of New Japan.
Yeah, he was part of Noah.
He was Noah, but now Noah is like a completely different company at this point, totally new ownership and everything. That he could go back to Noah, or I feel like he could just step directly back, like he could just step directly into New Japan as like a major player, which they kind of need right now with the departure allegedly of Kenny Omega and Kushida and the Bucks and Cody.
Which I feel like Kenny Omega isn't even a legend. He's gone. He will be gone. Where he goes is the question, even though the answer's fairly obvious, like on the wall.
Yeah.
Do you think that Kenta / Hideo Itami can he walk in the big name?
Yes.
Or will there have to be
yes. Yeah, the Kenta, yes.
And I don't mean that as an insult to him. It's just the past few years that he spent in the United States, even though he's done a great job.
His WWE run has been a letdown.
Right, and not really through no fault of his own. The injuries, the stuff like that. But do you think that he left enough of a lasting legacy in Japan that he could easily go back?
Yes.
He was like the Hogan of Japan for a while. Like he was like one of the most important people.
Like
he was almost he was kind of single-handedly keeping Noah afloat.
Him and Marufuji, yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe I don't know enough about the Japanese scene of wrestling. But, like, if you were to tell me, oh, guy from Impact could go, like, let's say guy from Impact goes to Japan for a couple years, kind of flounders, comes back to WWE, would he have that lasting legacy, or would he have to be a rebuilding period?
Yes. And I'm going to give you with AJ Styles. That's almost exactly what AJ Styles did.
I would like to rescind my question and move on to the next segment, please.
Oh, I thought he was going to be like, all right, I'm going to ask the question again, but say you can't say AJ Styles.
But no, because AJ Styles is the answer. He's absolutely right.
But the difference is that would be like if Impact for a stretch was like legitimately close to... It would be more like if someone left WCW at its peak NWO. And then came into WWE.
Is that
today.
Is that how comparable Noah was to New Japan?
I could be wrong, and it probably wasn't that close. But there was a very serious down period in New Japan for a while, and Noah was very quickly kind of filling that gap. Noah's always been not second fiddle, but Noah's pretty consistently been second place in the world of Japanese wrestling.
Second to third because of whenever All Japan was around.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's but for a while, and like in a big part of that was, like you said, Marufuji and Kenta.
God,
Because because those those two individuals, no matter who they were working with, like they were arguably the biggest names in Japan.
Because like that was the thing with like Kenta and Marufuji. Like I appreciate them as wrestlers just because like Nakamura is amazing, but he very much had a character behind him. You can go back and watch old Nakamura matches and be like, this dude is it's Johnny Boots and Tights.
Yeah,
but like
same thing with Okada.
Yeah, and like but like with Kenta and Marufuji, like they were just badasses. Mm-hmm. Like that's just who they didn't need a character.
Strong style.
Yeah, like they were just murderers basically. Right. And I appreciate that style of wrestling a lot.
I do, but the more
to an extent,
the more I see strong style with both, and I'm being dead serious with the Walter thing and what I've seen you go through.
Oh, sweetie, I would never. Well, actually, no. If they book it, I would definitely wrestle Walter.
And if they said Shannon go out with Walter, I would say no. You find someone else to carry your dead. I'm not doing that shit.
It would be an experience.
Oh, it sure would.
I would love it.
So is
would a
typhoid.
car wreck. Yeah. Well, congratulations, Kenta.
I hope
I wish nothing but the best for him.
He kind of got I don't want to say he was treated unfairly, but like it
just didn't go right.
Yeah, and that really sucks because he's so good.
It's that definition of like you can do everything right and still lose.
Yeah,
like there was nothing wrong with Hideo Itami. They treated him well. He was pushed really hard. In his later years, less so after the injuries and stuff like that. Which again, no fault of his own. It just happens.
Right.
It was just a bad situation.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see where he goes next, and hopefully, and if the story about his wife being unhappy is true, hopefully they can get back to Japan and be happy.
Yeah,
because
that's what it's all about.
That's what's most important.
Yeah, or he'll send her back to Japan and he'll go to Impact. Anyway, speaking of Japan, the government shutdown. I did not hear this. The government shutdown is being blamed for the major New Japan Pro Wrestling stars missing the U.S.
Is responsible for.
Okay, well, it says to blame on here.
Okay.
To blame.
So I'm just
it's responsible.
Yeah,
for
no,
it.
they are to they are to blame. They're not being blamed. They are to blame.
Okay, to blame.
Because the New Japan had a American tour that was this week or in the next month or so.
Yeah.
But so they probably waited a little bit longer than they should have to request the visas for their Japanese national talent, and those did not get processed because of the shutdown. Mm-hmm. So I don't have the full list with me, but like Ishii, Goto, there's a couple other pretty big. Like it wasn't like Okada or Naito.
Right.
But it was their higher upper mid card that couldn't go. So when you look at all these cards of New Japan shows and it's all American people.
Right.
And it's just this isn't anybody that we really
These guys aren't Japanese.
Yeah, this isn't the names that we really wanted to see.
Speaking of Japanese names, Dalton, a favorite of yours, Wrestling with Regret, Brian Zane, until I watched because you've gotten me into him, and I was watching one yesterday or maybe day before yesterday, and you remember Dick Togo?
Yeah.
I never realized until he said it that he was also known as Dick to go.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
Yep.
I hate this. I hate everything about it.
That is a running joke on those Conrad Thompson podcast.
That sucks. So, of course, with the threat of another shutdown looming in, what are we at? T-minus 2 weeks now? Before the next shutdown?
Oh, wait, we're off a shutdown?
Yeah.
They came to a compromise to reopen the government, but then it's for 3 weeks because it's still going on, but at least now the workers are being paid
for at least 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I was about to say, it's going to be really horrible whenever they're like, oh, thank God we're back on our contract. Oh, and they shut it down right before our checks were due.
But you'll have to tune in to Thursday's show to hear more because that's where we get political.
Okay, I didn't know we were on a temporary not shutdown.
We are legitimately.
Mm-hmm. Well, good.
Moving on, Chris Jericho's Rumble tweets. I don't know any of this.
So God. We talked about it a little bit last night.
Was him being a dick?
Yeah, it's kind of him being shitty, but at the same time, it's Jericho, so it's hard to tell if it was out of malice or if he was just
having fun.
If he was having fun or if he is just kind of going being screw it, I'm going full petty. Let me get the actual tweets pulled up because I actually have them here. The first one was, hey, and he tags all three companies. Hey, WWE, Ring of Honor, and Impact Wrestling. I love watching you push all your randoms, but just know that we are interested in maybe 6 to 8 of your talents total. We don't need you. And then he tags AEW. Then as he's watching the Rumble, he tweets, "Intimidation and fear goes a long way in our business, guys. But let's be honest." And he tags him. "Brock Lesnar needs to pull up his pants and lose the gut. The dream is over, dude. I don't play by the script." And then he tags WWE and AEW again. I don't know if Lesnar's someone you want to be just like...
Yeah, like...
I mean, he's almost fought him before.
I feel like the first one was kind of dickish. That one, like, it's really getting to, like, disrespectful for no reason territory.
Yeah, and because, like, I don't get the feeling that him and Lesnar are, like, bros, because he's the one that squared up to him when he thought he legit, like, took liberties with Orton.
Right.
Back when that happened. And then the third one, I think, is probably the funniest and also probably the meanest. But it is someone that he has he has had like a relationship with before. Someone responded to that first tweet of like, yeah, but guys like Zack Ryder and Tyler Breeze, and he tagged both of them in that, could do so much better in AEW if they were treated correctly, blah, blah, blah. And Jericho's response to that was just not interested. Which... Okay.
What was the response?
But then the response was Tyler Breeze tagging Zack Ryder and be like, "Hey, what did you do to piss off Jericho?"
So, but all right, let's look at this objectively and through serious eyes. Jericho is not a part of any kind of booking or any official capacity other than on-air talent, right?
Yes, as far as we know.
As far as we know. So Jericho really has no place to say these things other than just riling up the crowd.
See, I don't... In an official capacity, maybe. But that said, like, he is a multi-decade veteran.
He is.
At this point.
Which is why it's very odd that he would say those things.
He's absolutely... And that's why I think he's kind of doing it like...
It has to be a joke.
Like tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's just kind of screwing with them.
Right. I mean, we're talking about
that said, I am sure he is constantly, and all of them are, the Bucks, Cody, everybody, is being inundated with, hey, sign literally every single person from WWE.
Yep.
It's Pokemon. Every single Pokemon is someone's favorite.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Found out this weekend that Caleb Trips is Quagsire. I didn't think Quagsire was going to be anyone's favorite Pokemon.
Well, that's why he's a dit, all right?
I thought after his feud with R-Truth, Quagsire really fell off the map. He was damaged goods by that point.
And so it's one of those things where it's like every wrestler is probably someone's favorite wrestler.
Except Baron Corbin.
I don't understand why he gets the hate. I don't. But anyway, we'll get to that later on Raw. So it's that thing where I am sure he is constantly like, hey, you guys have got to sign Ty Dillinger. Hey, you guys have got to sign Mojo Rawley. Hey, you guys have got to sign, insert literally anyone on that roster now.
Right.
And I'm sure he's sick of it. And I'm sure that,
it's like what Jason went through, where everybody's like,
you
know, hey, bring in this person, bring in this person, bring in
but I don't
everyone
stop.
in New Japan.
Yeah, but I don't stop. Bring in Glacier, you coward.
You monster. And Lee Montgomery.
Lee's the one that keeps it going.
You bastard. You told... No, you know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
So yeah, I'm sure, and you know what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there are people on these rosters that, yeah, they have no interest in. Like, they aren't looking to steal every single talent.
Jesus Christ, Shannon.
So at a certain point, like, yeah, he may have like kind of reached a breaking point, but yeah, to call him randoms is like that's insulting.
That's super disrespectful.
But at the same time, it's Jericho, so it's like he's always been kind of that like. Yeah. And I'm sure there's going to be people who took that poorly and are pissed at Jericho about it. Right. I don't think Jericho really cares. And like, do I think it was a shitty thing to say? Yeah. But I also don't think that he meant it as to be like as insulting as it came across. But I also just don't think that he cares because he's Chris Jericho.
Not to say that it would affect it too much, but one thing that I've kind of learned, and not only with working with CCW, but also just in gaming grounds, just in general, was that every time you open your mouth when you're a representative of a company, you have the chance to alienate people. So even though I'm sure there's a ton of fans, the majority of fans who read those tweets and either laughed about it because they thought it was legit funny, even if he was serious, or thought it was tongue-in-cheek, you do run the risk of finding fans that may get turned off from it and go, oh, this is one of the representatives. Why is he shitting on independent wrestler? Or why is he shitting on these wrestlers? That makes me kind of dislike him and maybe I won't watch it. But it's like Walmart. Like Walmart pisses off how many people every day, and it's still the biggest like company in the United States.
I also feel like the people who are still following Jericho and as fans of AEW, they know it's Jericho. So yeah, like I said, I am sure that there's absolutely people who feel that way, but I feel like that number's not as great as you might think it is.
No, it's
but
a
again,
minority.
that's an opinion thing, and
Right.
we can't. There's no way of really quantifying that.
For all we know, Jericho was texting Brock Lesnar, and he was like, "Hey, say this,"
yeah,
and they're laughing about it. You know,
which I don't like. Yeah, I think of the three, I think that was probably the actual the one that's most likely a legit shot.
Yeah.
Which it's easy
If
to take
there
a
was
shot at.
one.
It's easy to take a shot at Lesnar because at this point, Lesnar is not endeared to a wrestling crowd for the most part.
And Jericho still very much is.
Yeah,
Right.
and so again, maybe this is all maybe this is us talking to you about Hogan. I've got
Right.
such the blinders that Chris, because he is my greatest of all time. Yeah, okay, well, yeah, that's not great, but no, it's fine. He didn't mean it. It's just a joke.
If they unearthed
So yeah, maybe just fuck me. And just
if
don't
they
listen to
unearthed
what
a
I say.
tape of Chris Jericho from 7 years ago, where he used the N word over and over again, but it was like an isolated incident. No one's ever said that he was racist. I'm being dead serious. Would that change your view of him?
Oh yeah,
Could you forgive him?
The fallout would play a huge part of it, of if I could or not. But no, I mean, but it is one of those things where it's yeah, if he came out and actually because the more I find out about Jericho, the more I'm not a huge fan of that.
Oh, see, I thought that was more AJ Styles because the more I hear about Styles, the more I kind
of the same.
Oh my god,
a little bit kind of the same.
Please just stop being real people.
But at the same time, it's okay, our beliefs don't necessarily line up on certain things, and that's fine. Neither of them have really yet to be a total dick about it,
Right.
I think. But yeah, if something like that were to come to surface, where it's Jericho did something truly abhorrent, I would absolutely be okay, well, that totally tarnishes some of my favorite moments in wrestling and my favorite character. That would hurt a lot, and I honestly, that would make me question my fandom of wrestling in general.
really,
Yeah.
As a whole, because so much of my enjoyment of wrestling has come from stuff Jericho has done and stuff Jericho has influenced.
right?
Yeah.
That
Well, if you're
for
me,
him to be taken down like that
Yeah.
would just be I don't know if I can super that would be such a bummer that it would just kind of take me out of everything.
Well, if you're like me, you just clutch the cross and you say your prayers, eat your vitamins, just go. No, that was 8 years ago. That's not Hogan.
That was Chris Irvine.
That's not Hogan
That was Chris
anymore.
Irvine. I like Chris Jericho.
We're talking about it. I'm honestly surprised. So I've mentioned before that I'm shocked that the Iron Sheik hasn't gotten more flack for the things he said that you can go hear him say at any point. But AJ Styles is kind of the same way. AJ Styles was notorious, and I've heard many clips and video clips where he's called people, fag and stuff like that. And it's what? Do we pick and choose who we want to take down? Why is this old video of this person bad, but this one's okay? Why do we? This one's still wrestling and he's beloved by the community, so that's probably why he gets a pass. But it doesn't feel right.
It's also because when he you can't, as much as they're both terrible.
Yeah, I know
but
what you're about to
there's
say.
a reason that you just said fag, but you have a much harder time saying nigger.
Yes.
It's just and again, I'm not
Yeah,
but
no, I
it's-
just
there's a reason I said that. There's
Yeah.
a reason I said it out loud is because no, that's the N word.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a huge difference. Also, civil rights, that fight has been happening since the foundation of America.
Yeah.
And before. So
Other countries.
Black
Yeah.
people have been fighting in a much more publicized way
Yeah.
Yeah.
based on the color of their skin. You can't just there's no passing. You can't just pretend to be white.
Eddie Murphy.
Oh my God.
He's gonna slap the shit out of you. If
I'm
you
aware.
up.
Whereas gay rights has been more of a kind of a hey, no, yeah, they've had a shitty time as well for just as long, but now it's really just now coming to fruition. Think of the stuff that we would say on Xbox Live and the jokes and the names that we would call each other 10 years ago. I think that's kind of and that's why you really don't hear AJ Styles. Yeah, he's done interviews, but so have
Everybody?
throw a dart at a name of wrestlers.
I also want to point out that Ace said, see how you said the F word. I really didn't want to. I don't know if you could tell the hesitation when I said it because I wanted to just say the F word, but I didn't know if that would get the point across.
Right.
And I'm proud to say that I've grown as a human being enough that saying that word actually bothers me.
Yeah.
Which is
Oh, no,
funny because for the past couple of weeks I've been quoting this mega
Yeah.
and robo
Yeah.
bitch. But to me it's it's the boy, life is hard.
Yeah.
Because I sometimes I'm righteous and other times I'm no, it's just a joke. It's just a thing they put on there. And there comes that point where my insides me is so confused. He's okay, but which one is it? Everything is everything sayable? Is nothing sayable? life and freedom of speech and like how we treat each other is very difficult sometimes. It's not black and white. There is a gray area.
Right. So like, but the point I'm making with AJ
the
Styles
N-word
is
should
like,
probably never, well, none of it should be in the gray area. Shit.
but so like, the point I'm trying to make is,
Damn.
so AJ Styles, like CM Punk has said stuff like that. Like almost every independent wrestler in the 90s and early 2000s said something like that.
Yeah, but it was also, that was the time where it was not
It's the whole
frowned upon as a society.
as much. That word did not it really didn't have the stigma as much as it does now, because as a society we are growing and learning.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it's that thing where it's like AJ Styles now. There's a reason like you don't see him on Up Up Down Down getting mad. Like you can tell the terrible things he's saying.
Yeah.
But it's not including that.
To be fair,
So
also, there was a time when the N-word wasn't frowned upon either, when people flipped it out randomly.
Yeah, and it's called Thanksgiving at my parents' house.
Okay, that's all I needed. That's all I needed to hear.
But at the same time, like the amount of time that now it is the N-word. That happened 30 years before like faggot as a term has really been like, oh, that's just I'm not saying you're gay. I'm just calling you a faggot.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's a funny insult. But now we are realizing, no, that word is a terrible word and should not be used like
flippantly.
Yeah.
We at Pro Wrestling Unscripted and the Podzilla 1985 Network want to point out that just because we say like, oh, back then people were saying it, we also are of the belief, and I think I speak for everybody, that those words, the N-word, faggot, should never be acceptable, and they shouldn't have been acceptable when we were young. But like you said, we didn't know it. It's not that the word suddenly got bad.
Yeah,
the word was always bad.
Right.
It's our comprehension as children into adulthood and growing as people.
It's gaining
that made
empathy.
us realize, right?
And it's that societal empathy. And I truly hope that like me saying that on like the podcast like is not going to be taken.
No,
like, because like I'm not saying it like as an insult. I am not saying it like I'm not calling anyone that.
You don't have to defend yourself.
Oh, I feel like I do though, because it is very much
you
just
said the word.
Like, because I said the word, and it's just, and that's the power of it. That's how much hate is behind that word that even just saying it is uncomfortable.
We lost a cast member because I said the N-word so much during the Hulk Hogan episode, when all I was doing was quoting Hulk Hogan and we were discussing it.
Right.
But there was someone that was so offended, who was on the cast, that was so offended by my use of the word that they quit. And like, I'm still on good terms with this person, but it is a powerful word, and I understand why you feel like you need to defend yourself. But when you're using it in context like that, like, I don't think you should have to defend it, and I just want you to know we all understand.
Right.
So don't worry about, like, if you're looking at me, I'm cool. So
well, I also hope like that our listeners understand as well that it's not just like, oh, Ace has been looking for an excuse to drop the N-bomb.
No,
you've been itching.
That's the first time
years.
I've ever heard Asa say that word, really, other than when he's talking about his family. So I can attest to the fact that is
because I'm not calling my family that. I am quoting the terrible shit that my family says.
God damn it. Let's move on to
Although I feel like that would make Thanksgiving a lot more fun for you if you just
walked in and called them that.
If I just started calling them that,
they'd probably hug you and laugh, and then let's watch Dorfall and golf. I don't know. I feel like that's something your family watches.
They watch a lot of golf.
Speaking of movies, though, Roman Reigns is set to appear in Hobbs and Shaw. Saw a picture of him on set. That looks really good. He looks good. I think it was Aaron Brooks that posted we should get Jason Momoa in Fast and Furious. Rumor is he will be in it. And I posted a gif of Roman Reigns. I said I thought he was. Because they're the same person.
Fast and the Furious is very low key, starting to turn into just the new Expendables franchise.
Yep.
Good, because they don't know what to do with the Expendables franchise at this point.
No.
Well, the nursing home's empty. That's why.
Did you know the first Expendables came out the same day as Scott Pilgrim vs. the World?
Oh, well, one of those are good movies.
Yeah, and one of them did a ton of money at the box office.
Unfortunately, it's not the same one.
Nope.
Okay. In fairness, the first Expendables isn't bad. That is the definition of a stupid popcorn movie.
Yes.
2 and 3, I'm not gonna issue a comment, but
because I think was the first one R-rated and then they went to PG-13, or did it start PG-13 and then R-rated?
I don't know enough about the lore and the history of the Expendables franchise.
You see somebody makes a phone call and they need the Expendables, and then they're like, look, they go to the senior center and be like, we need all these people.
Jokes aside, though, you take an action movie.
Yeah, they could all kick your ass, though.
Yeah, and you put Sylvester Stallone, you put Terry Crews, Dolph Lundgren, Jet Li, all these guys in it. I'm gonna go watch that movie, and I did. I watched that movie over Scott Pilgrim. Because, and me and Bob were talking about it the other day, we're like, man, we backed the wrong pony that day.
You helped Scott Pilgrim make literally dozens of dollars their opening day.
Oh, I feel bad about that. That's one of my greatest regrets. I'm not a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise. The most it ever did for me was I really wanted to play Need for Speed Underground after watching it.
Yeah.
And the movies are fine. It's just it went from that like kind of half serious crime drama to full on insanity.
Yeah, so they jumped the shark after the third movie.
In a car.
Jesse was watching the last one when I went into his apartment, and I still to this day stand by the fact that the last Fast and the Furious movie that released, whatever it's called, because they changed it's stupid. That's another thing. So whatever the last one was called, and they're having that really nice rooftop dinner scene. I got such strong vibes that like a UFO was going to show up. Like the alien invasion was about to hit because it would have fit so well. And I feel like that was a real missed opportunity.
Hey, buddy, hold on. They're still making them.
Yeah.
It's not even called Fast and Furious anymore. Now it's Hobbs and Shaw.
Well, no, because it's a spinoff.
This
isn't a main.
You're not going to see another Fast and the Furious. I have a feeling it's
Yeah,
going to
you
be.
are.
Yeah, they're
doing another one.
Are they seriously?
Yeah,
That's the one
only
Jason-
one person died.
That's the one Jason Momoa is like rumored to be a part of. Is the next
Oh,
mainline
I thought he was in
Fast
the
and
Hobbs and Shaw.
No, because and that's why Tyrese. Was it Tyrese that got into an Instagram Twitter war with The Rock?
I think so.
Because
The Rock and Vin Diesel did not get along apparently when they were filming
Oh,
Fast
really?
and Furious. Oh yeah. So the last day that they were shooting, The Rock posted this thing thanking like the cast and crew, except for like little bitches who like complain. I'm paraphrasing, but he was very critical.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knew it was Vin Diesel he was talking about as like a Hollywood diva, and Vin Diesel wasn't happy about it. Like it got bad. I think that's why they're doing the spinoff
well,
now.
I didn't know
One
that.
of those
Well,
guys have Marvel money.
Well, so Tyrese is
Shit, they both have Marvel money. No,
Rock doesn't.
Rock is not in. Is The Rock not in a Marvel movie yet?
No, he's gonna
What's
be.
taking
He's
so long?
Black Adam because he's in DC.
Yeah.
He's gonna have that DC money.
I thought it was just a rumor though.
Dozens of dollars.
I don't know anymore. But no, they got into like a heated argument on exchange on Instagram and Twitter because Tyrese is blaming The Rock for being a successful actor and having that character get a spin-off movie because he's saying that is postponing and delaying the next mainline Fast and the Furious movie, which he needs the money from that. Which is just a real sad state of affairs.
If you're still watching the Fast and the Furious movies at this point, do yourself a favor.
You were
Go
talking directly to
outside.
Jesse Kimball right now.
Does he watch them?
Yeah, I told you just a couple
That's
months ago he was just watching the last one. I think he did a day where he like watched all of them.
I gotta call Jesse Kimball. We got post on the show. We gotta move on though. I told
But good
Ali
for-
about this the other day.
Super excited for Roman to be able to do something, and
Yeah.
I'm super happy that he's looking good. Hopefully,
Right.
he's feeling well. His treatments are progressing well. So
I can't describe. We made a joke before the show on the pre-show about when you hear someone dies, there's like a 50-50 chance it's either cancer or heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, like I'm so sick of hearing those words.
If you
cancer
want to
and heart
hear who
attack.
that person that was dying talked about, pay $1 to our Patreon.
You gotta get the Patreon.
And you'll figure out that apparently I'm a way worse human than I thought.
You can also call the hotline at 1-900-490-FREAK, and we'll tell you all
Christ.
about
You better not put that fucking commercial in
this
this show.
next story,
we don't have time to.
which is the WWE is starting a new reality show to find the newest female superstar. Are we doing this again?
Yep.
As soon as I saw that, I thought, are you kidding me?
It's the same company that does Total Bellas, Total Divas.
It sure is, Asa. And when you've got stars and they're like, we have the Becky Lynches now.
Mm-hmm.
We had them before, but now we've got them again, and they're popular. And then also you've got the people in NXT that you're going back to that old chestnut of let's just bring back the Diva Search. And I hate everything.
I'm not excited for it. It'll be interesting to see what kind of spin.
I'll tell you who's excited for it: Dalton and Zach Price.
I haven't
probably
watched.
watch it weekly.
I haven't seen Total Divas in like 4 seasons, so
Liar.
get off my ass on that one. No, I don't have the E Network on DirecTV now.
Well, do you like the Total Divas? Do you like Total Bellas, Miss and Mrs., Mrs., and now this one, the next great cunt hunt? I don't know.
Jesus fucking Christ! Really?
Not proud of that one, but I am. I'd say it broke in, but so did that water bottle. If I could somehow shift back to professionalism, and it's going to be really hard. Please don't. You're not making this any easier. I truly hate this. Because I really do feel like they're just going to turn this in the next Diva Search. They're just going to find the next hot model that has no. And maybe I'm wrong. Could they do this the right way?
I mean, potentially, but I don't. Maybe they're just trying to like rebrand like a Tough Enough type deal. But it's given the production company, like I think it's going to be less about that. And now it's just they're trying to start like an original.
And I hate that
with like an original cast of characters instead of like using the current roster of female talent.
I feel like they're gonna put this person like. Do you remember when was it the Diva Search?
Oh yeah, no. This whoever ends up winning this, or
she's
like,
dead in the water. Unless she is an established like indie talent that got put on the show, she's dead in the water.
Yeah,
she's screwed.
Yeah, that is
the moment she steps foot in a WWE ring. Allie, what do you feel about this? Because I remember when I told you about it the other day, you didn't seem happy.
No, I'm not. Pretty much what you said.
Hopefully not what I said.
Well, not that part of what you said. Jesus.
But that it's a bad idea.
Yes.
That unless they really do get like a pool of indie talent and go, hey, we want to get you guys on this show. If you just go down that route of open casting call, must be a beautiful and athletic. Diversity can be good. And then you put those on the show, and then they go, okay, of all the terrible people here that don't really understand the business, you're the least terrible, and you're the best looking. Here's your contract. You now make more than most of the roster. Good luck going out there and fitting in with people.
And it'll be interesting to see too if they do this as like where it is total divas, where it's all at like their homes and following their personal lives, or if this is very much like a Tough Enough style where they move these 6 women to the Performance Center in at Full Sail and. No, they are trying to teach someone from the ground up to be a professional wrestler, or if they take potential. I really don't see this being an established talent thing,
right?
Like because that unless they do the Tough Enough angle, where it's like, okay, hey, now you are competing for a guaranteed roster spot on NXT, and you kind of jump the line there, where it's like you bring in established female talent, and I don't. But like I said,
it's almost like a Mae Young Classic, but the person that wins.
But it's more of a reality show,
right?
Yeah, so I don't know how it's going. I'm interested to see what direction they go. I think there is a good way to do this and a terrible way to do this.
Well, like you said, it's being produced by the people that make Total Divas and Total Bellas, which is a scripted reality show.
Yeah. So
sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah.
Good idea. Jake Hagar. I always call him Hagar. Is it Hagar or Hagar?
Either.
I mean, there's a right way. I just don't know what the right way is.
Jack Swagger.
Yeah.
Jack Swagger won his Bellator debut and did it pretty impressively. Apparently, he did the We the People thing. And he came out to R-Truth's music, or R-Truth rapped him out?
R-Truth rapped him out. His whole intro is still We the People. Like, he is very much clinging to that like a life preserver of relevancy.
Well, he
which
said
is a
he
shame
wants
because
to,
I've always loved Jack Swagger.
He said he really wants to embrace his wrestling roots. Like, he doesn't want to shy away from it like Lesnar or Punk did. Like, he very much wants to make that a part of who he is.
He kind of wants to legitimize pro wrestling in the eyes of the MMA community.
Right.
Which is a very admirable I can't talk. Admirable thing to do.
Which is what everyone said Punk and Lesnar would do. And even though Lesnar was successful, I stand by that.
Lesnar was successful because he is a freak of nature.
And when he was in UFC, he did not give a shit about professional wrestling.
No.
He shit on it when he could. He wasn't like trying to make everyone proud. No, fuck American wrestlers.
CM Punk was already kind of just like he was done with wrestling,
right.
So now he's focused. So why would he focus on that?
The sweetest thing to come out of that was Heath Slater's Instagram. Because I'm looking at the post right now, but it's looks like Corbin, one of the Ascension guys, Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose, Uso, and Heath with the red, white, and blue hand over the heart shirt, saying like, "Nope, just get ready for Bellator. Watching our buddy tear some stuff up." I'm like, oh,
they probably have a lot of those shirts they need to move, and they will. If he keeps this up.
And it's still full of WWE shop just still has crates and crates of that.
I would say Jack Swagger. I'll just call it Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger is now the third most, in my opinion, successful wrestler turned UFC fighter. Because I still think number one's Lesnar. It has to be.
Yeah.
Number two, I would put Bobby Lashley because he was pretty successful on the circuit. And then there's everybody else. There's everyone else that got knocked out. And I know it's easy to just like.
But you're also speaking strictly like professional wrestler turned
MMA fighter. I'm not talking about Dan Saver and Frank or Ken Shamrock, people like that.
Yeah.
But like Sean O'Hare when he tried, MMA. I don't remember how well he did. I know he didn't do great. Alberto Del Rio was in MMA fighting, and I saw him get knocked out by Crow Cop, and that's the only fight I ever saw.
Did he start in MMA though?
Del Rio?
Yeah,
I think it was a little bit of both. I
think he
had his hat in both.
Yeah,
because he wore a mask in MMA, I think, and then in wrestling he didn't, or maybe he wore a mask in both.
He wore a mask briefly in Mexico for at least a little bit, like when he was going as Dos Caras Jr.
Yeah,
which I think what he fought as in MMA. But congratulations to Jack Swagger, and we wish him the best. And the wrestling thing, I think it works until he loses, and then someone's going to bring it up.
I mean, probably, but that's just kind of the nature of shitty people being shitty.
Mark Haskins suffered a partial calf tear. Oh, that just sounds bad. But it's only expected to miss a few weeks.
Yeah,
That's insane to think about.
Yeah, which it has to be extremely minor.
Yeah, like
to
a
not
small
require
tear.
surgery or something. So, but the main reason I put this in is because he is now part of the Lifeblood group in ROH, which seems to be a major focus of ROH going forward. It's CJ Parker's Juice Robinson's stable that includes Tenille Dashwood.
Best name. Emma. Anyway, Halftime Heat is returning. Now, if you don't remember Halftime Heat, it was a one-off thing. I believe it was a one-off, Dalton. You can correct me if I'm wrong. That pit The Rock against Mankind during halftime of the Super Bowl. Because
that was the empty arena match.
Yeah. And I can't remember. I remember at the time, hearing people say, well, the reason they did it that way was because they knew they couldn't draw anyone there because of the Super Bowl. But was that true, or am I just remembering things weird? That they literally that the reason they did the empty arena was because they were afraid they couldn't draw on Super Bowl day.
Yeah, no, that's what it was.
That was
Was that
the
the
whole
actual
point.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Richards talked about it.
Because why would they even have The Rock versus Mankind on Sunday Night Heat for the title?
Because they knew they couldn't really compete with the Super Bowl, but they wanted to do something during the biggest sports spectacle of the year.
Yeah, it's the thought of USA has this Sunday that they don't do anything with. Let's get the time slot for the halftime. We know it's
Dirt
gonna,
cheap.
Yeah, we know it's going to be 30 minutes, so we can film a match.
Right.
And if we film it, we can film it, edit it, do everything we need to in 30 minutes, and put it out there.
Yeah.
I think it's actually, they recently talked about that on Something to Wrestle With.
And I remember that match being extremely awkward.
That's an amazing match, I think.
Well,
No, I don't mean the match was awkward.
Just
the
that environment.
Sounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hearing all the little grunts and noises that you don't really
Ever hear because you have the crowd noise.
Right. It was just audibly awkward, and the fact that there was no one cheering and stuff, it was just an odd match. You know what I mean? The match itself was fine. Isn't that one where he pinned him with the forklift? Or am I thinking of a different match?
No, I think that was that was a last man standing match, I think.
Could possibly then for the 10 count. Yeah,
I think so. I could be wrong. It's been a while. Don't remember the Attitude Era as much as I used to remember.
So what is the matchup for this halftime heat? Because isn't it a 6-man tag?
It's it's a 6-man
Undisputed Era. Or no.
No,
It's not.
Ricochet,
Dream, and Dunn versus
Ciampa, Gargano. And I don't remember.
One of the guys from Undisputed Era.
Also, it's not Dunn. It's Black. It's
Aleister
Velveteen
Black.
Dream, Ricochet, and Black versus
Gargano, Ciampa, and I think
Adam Cole?
Adam Cole.
Yeah, that sounds right. Why am I guessing? I can look
Yeah,
at.
I don't
That's
remember.
a better
Well, because
match.
I keep forgetting that they're doing that Worlds Collide tournament on Saturday too, with NXT 205 Live and NXT UK people.
What is this halftime heat airing on, by the way?
Network. This is on the WWE Network.
Okay. Cool.
Well, that'd be really cool. You have your Chromecast, you just throw it up there, and yeah,
Watch it.
It's Cole, Gargano, Ciampa versus Black, Ricochet, and Dream. Also, that Velveteen Dream Elite is coming out soon. Whew, it is purdy.
Speaking of Purdy, Jeff Jarrett, now that's JEFF, JARRETT, has re-signed with WWE as a producer and on an on-screen role. You may have known that from the Royal Rumble and then Raw, where he appeared both times. I thought his Raw appearance was better than his Royal Rumble appearance, personally.
He said slap nuts, that's why.
The moment he said slap nuts, I tapped Allie. I was like, he said it. Even though it was a half joke, because I always hated the slap nuts thing.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't like it as much. But, so I thought the Monday night thing was kind of fun. And boy, when I mentioned it in front of you, you look so mad. And I'm curious, I
hated it.
I don't want to assume why you're mad at it. I want to know why.
Mostly it's because they are taking one of the most, and they did it again on SmackDown. You were taking one of the most organically over talents that you have, over faces, and shoehorning them in this heel feud for no reason. Elias is so good and was so over as a face, and now you're having him turn heel for no reason against Jeff Jarrett
And Brian,
why?
the Road Dogg. I don't get it either.
That seems like such a cool. I've said it before. I've talked about it. I'm not a huge Jarrett fan. I never was.
Either. No.
That said, why does it need to be Elias? Jarrett can come in and feud with anybody, and it'll be decent, and it'll be good.
I assume it's
Why
the
do
guitar.
you need a totally and that's the entire.
It's the guitar.
We have this
Yeah.
guy, but it feels so forced and so I feel like this is just totally derailing whatever type of momentum that Elias has, and I don't think the payoff is going to be worth it.
But do you think it's so out of character for Elias's character to not want to share the spotlight with another singer, guitarist? Like, storyline
But that's not what like, he was heel beforehand. Like, he started like that promo antagonizing the crowd, and not like the fun way that he has been doing, because his character never truly changed.
Yeah.
Like, he was still kind of like taking jabs at the city, but it was like oh, it's all in good fun.
Well, see, someone tried to tell me that from this time, and I think it was maybe Dalton, because I said, "Oh, he's like," I don't remember who it was. I was like, "Oh, he's making fun of the city." Like,
No, this time
somebody's like, "Oh, he still does that," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
But this time it wasn't with that kind of like wink and a smile. He was like, no, and shut your damn mouths. Because like he still did that, but it was more of the you suck to chanting at Kurt Angle. Like, oh no, that's just the thing he says. But no, this time it felt targeted and directed, and like, no, literally, you people are beneath me. You don't deserve my performance. He went back to those lines.
Did something happen that I missed? And I'm being dead serious. Did something happen
No.
that I missed storyline wise where something happened to him?
That's why I'm so mad about it.
That doesn't-
No,
Yeah,
he
no,
got
so it's-
eliminated from the Royal Rumble.
That
Like,
was it, yeah.
unless Jarrett showing up made him so irrationally angry.
Well, didn't he heal Jarrett too, though? I mean, he healed before.
A
Did
little.
he heal before Jarrett?
Not really.
Like,
No,
when
he was just doing his shtick.
when he was number one. Like, was he being
No,
antagonistic?
he was still like but that was still more of the like wink and a smile
Okay.
type stuff that he was doing.
So literally, Jarrett's presence upset him so much that he turned heel immediately.
Yes, and that's why I hate it.
Wow. Because I thought Jarrett would come in as the heel. If they were going to feud, Jarrett would be the crafty veteran heel.
Yeah, because he is someone who is a great heel.
He is better as a
like
heel
he
than he is as a
could come
face.
in doing the whole like fun, the song and everything, and immediately just be like, "No, I'm above that. I'm not like that's who I was 30 years ago."
Because
Never
that's
again.
exactly what he did. He said, "I am these stupid songs," and he became a legitimate.
But
like,
then he
wrestler.
could immediately be like, "Oh, of course you people react to that. You don't know who I truly am. You don't know what I'm truly capable of." And then you have, keep Elias as the good guy. I hate it. Yeah, I'm gonna see. Of course, I'm gonna see where it goes because I really enjoy Elias. But
I hearing your reasoning, I agree with you. I thought maybe Elias had already turned, because I don't get to watch wrestling as much, and I didn't get to watch Raw or anything for the past couple weeks. So I thought maybe Elias has slowly been moving into a more heelish role.
No, literally, I was at Raw like 2-3 weeks
hard
ago.
180.
Yeah, like I was at Raw like 2 weeks ago, 2-3
Yeah.
weeks ago, and the one segment Elias was in, Braun Strowman was looking for Baron Corbin, and he literally sang it to him where he
Yeah, he
went.
pointed out because he's been feuding with Corbin.
Yeah,
who
like,
is the heeliest heel?
yeah,
Maybe that I can't. No, I'm not even gonna try to justify it.
yeah. Don't
I was-
justify because it literally makes no sense.
I'll say we see where it goes. I am always excited to see former stars get a little bit, like not a huge storyline, but anytime they can come back, have a little bit of fun, and then give the crowd, a good reaction for them. I like that because
Yeah.
it's one of those, hey, you did a lot for the business. Because even if you don't like Jarrett, you can't deny everything he's done for the business.
Right.
And it's always been a rocky road, but like the dude is a legit, like
He's a legend.
he's a legend. So it was cool to see him back, and I truly did get a smile when him and Road Dogg sang together because it was so corny.
The only
It
thing
was
that
so bad.
like, and I will be excited if this ends up being like a couple month thing. Like if this is like the last thing we see of Jarrett in WWE, like this would be neat for him to kind of get.
His send off.
Yeah. The thing that made me really happy about that segment was Road Dogg going up to Renee Young to sing Alone With My Baby Tonight, and she very obviously didn't know the words, and then Corey Graves is just shitting on her for it.
And did you see the picture she posted of Corey Graves pointing
and
and
laughing?
laughing
Is
at her?
is that on her Instagram?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I
You
am.
can show me that. Well, I mean, that song, that whole angle was like, I bet Allie, do you know what the reference is? And this isn't a shout at you. I don't know if I've ever told you before. Like, do you know why this was a thing?
No.
When Jeff Jarrett came into WWE or WWF at the time, let me see that picture real quick.
It's so great. He's literally
He's
as
legitimately
elementary kid pointing and laughing at
Yeah.
her.
So Jeff Jarrett comes in as a singer. He's going to use his wrestling talent to get into Nashville and to get into country music. It was a weird story.
I mean, Memphis is close-ish.
And he had a roadie who was the Road Dogg. That's how I got the name Road Dogg. And it turns out that the song that he had sang, With My Baby Tonight, which actually was a pretty good song, was actually sung by Road Dogg
That
and
was
not
the
Jeff Jarrett.
storyline, yeah.
And that was the storyline. And so this is like a callback to 20 plus years ago. And I got a smile out of it because I remember singing that song as a kid, and
See,
I
I
thought it was
don't
good.
like. I don't really remember that era of Jeff Jarrett. So like,
you used to slap nuts.
yeah,
the
Owen Hart
serious Jeff Jarrett. Yeah,
don't piss me off.
yeah, that was the best. Don't piss me off.
Yeah.
Bring that back. Not slap nuts.
because I think it was Jax made a figure of it, but you obviously couldn't put don't.
Piss.
Yeah, so it was don't tick me off. I had that toy.
I remember Balls Mahoney toy was just B Mahoney.
Give me a Jeff Jarrett elite with a shirt that says
Don't piss me off.
It's for 12 and up. It's fine. We can do it. Let's go.
It's 2019. The lines are blurred. Sean Davari, who you may remember as Khosrow Davari, I believe was his name, wasn't it?
I think so.
Khosrow?
Khosrow
Khosrow sounds right, though. I don't know.
He is signed on as WWE agent, which is great. I saw the post that his little brother, who wrestles for NXT, or I'm sorry,
Arya.
205 Live, that's really cool because Sean Davari, I always loved Sean Davari.
I did too. He like whenever I actually started watching him wrestle because I loved him as the super pissed off mouthpiece for Muhammad Hassan.
Yes.
But then watching him wrestle, and then eventually when he went to TNA at the time, I was like, oh, this dude's amazing.
He's really good.
And so yeah, seeing him be involved as an agent is really exciting.
He had one of the most uncomfortable promos I remember with Kurt Angle. Do you remember that one where Kurt Angle's like, I hope the Middle East wins against the United States, and he's like, yeah, me too. I don't like the black people. It was just like
I don't care. Yeah, it's Kurt Angle saying, I don't care about I don't care for the black people. It's like,
Yeah, that's the only one where Davari kind of went, maybe not. So that's really cool on Davari. Shane Helms also reportedly is signed on as a backstage role in WWE. I saw that picture of him and Davari together backstage.
Yeah.
Great for both of them. Like
Yeah.
that. Do you? All right, no, I know this is going to be a conspiracy theory, Shannon, but do you think this has anything to do with AEW as well? Like they're signing on all these
yes
guys
and no.
who
Like-
can contribute to the business.
Yes and no. I mean, it's a good move that I feel like they probably would have made anyway, but I feel like they're doing it all kind of together at once because of AEW. Like because they're trying to just keep, those sort of like positive influences. Like,
Right.
oh, why should we just let them float out there when we can hopefully use them?
Yeah, because
and I feel
Davari
like-
and Helms both have a wealth of knowledge and
yeah.
talent for this business.
Absolutely. And I saw someone on Reddit bring up a really interesting point that potentially this could be like, so instead they're moving away from writers kind of and more like going towards like wrestlers to help tell the stories in the ring.
So they're moving away from what has conventionally been Hollywood writers,
Right.
who write storylines, and more of the wrestlers who actually know kind of more about the business.
And more about like the art form that is
Right.
professional wrestling. If that's even remotely true at all, I don't know. I just kind of think it's a neat idea.
I feel like that's a plus if it is.
Yeah.
That's great. That is all the news of the week. Now we do have a couple of quick recaps because we are already past an hour. We spent so much time talking about
Me dropping the
Dean
N-bomb.
Ambrose and stuff. No, let that go. Let it go.
Oh, never.
I'm
gonna get fired.
Raw and SmackDown. Raw did have a couple of big moments. The one that sticks out in my head the most was Ronda Rousey was confronted by the man, Becky Lynch.
Man, what a turnaround in a segment, by the way.
Yeah.
Ronda losing she lost her focus. She's dropping lines. Like, she was rough to watch in that opening promo against Bayley. Match happens. There's a rumor that they sent Bayley out early because of how that segment was going. And then Becky Lynch comes out.
Ronda flipped the switch.
Becky is incredible. I've actually decided I'm making in the Google Doc that I have where I put all the news in. I am keeping my running notes of what I want for my end of the year award, so I don't have to scramble that last week.
Smart.
Promo of the year, Becky Ronda exchange from this Raw, because Becky was incredible. Ronda
Knocked it out of the park.
killed it.
I agree.
Killed it.
100%. Her line of I own the ground I walk on or whatever. That's such a good line and true. Like that is the Ronda Rousey that we need.
This is this isn't. We don't. It kind of clicked for me. I hate the happy to be here, Ronda.
Exactly.
This is no. I'm here because I am the baddest bitch on the planet.
You would think that if this were ECW at some point, she would have said, "I am Ronda fucking Rousey."
Yeah, exactly.
Because that needs to be said.
And this is the closest, and this is what we're getting. And so good. Both of the. I am so now. I'm giddy for this match. I will say I did see a Photoshop edit that now I really want to see if this is how WrestleMania should end this year. It's Charlotte holding the SmackDown Women's Championship. It's Bayley and Sasha holding the Women's Tag Team Championship, and then Becky holding the Raw Women's Championship.
Except for the fact that the rumor is, and I believe it 100%,
Charlotte's going to be in
they're going to move them into a triple threat, especially after what you saw on like SmackDown.
See, but I feel like but then also the other rumor is that it's because Becky's just going to wrestle Charlotte at Elimination Chamber and then again at Fastlane.
I'd be fine with that.
And then Charlotte will move on to whatever her
Asuka.
And that was one of the best matches at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Charlotte Asuka, give us the rematch.
Now the pressure's off too. Asuka's got the undefeated streak.
Now she has the championship, and even that, as Charlotte broke her streak, Charlotte took her championship. That could be the catalyst for a really nasty, really amazing Asuka heel turn.
Yeah, because I don't want to see Charlotte heel again. I know she's great at it, but like I hate it.
Her on SmackDown was head and shoulders better than what we've seen lately because it kind of felt like she's more. Becky is now the anti-hero, but she's still very much the good guy. And Charlotte is now being just shitty to Becky. And she's so much better than that, than the whole, like, trying to be half and half.
Yeah.
Now that she's just like, no, you know what? Screw you.
That
like,
punch,
you're only here because of me.
The punch that Becky hit Charlotte with. Like, Allie said, well, the mic's so close, and I agree, but, like, it sounded legit.
Yeah.
It sounded like she punched her. Did you hear the boos for Ronda Rousey on Raw? They were loud.
Oh, yeah, because Becky
were loud.
Becky is the most over person in the company.
Well, not just then. During the match. Her match with Bayley.
Oh, yeah,
she was getting booed like crazy. And I think
it is because of just the way that segment went. Like, she didn't really do herself
and everyone
any
loves
favors.
Bayley, to be fair.
Not like this is the best reaction Bayley's gotten. The Rumble and Monday was the best reaction Bayley's gotten in a while because they have done
nothing
terrible things with her because they've just lumped her in with that awful never-ending program with Sasha, and now they're in just these meaningless tag matches, which now they're less meaningless because they finally announced the
belt,
women's championship.
If you want to keep it going for Ronda with like the cheers and stuff, and the reaction she got when she cut her promo, because there was still some boos, but you can see the turning. You keep giving us this Ronda. You cannot go back to at some point. Ronda has to stop being happy to be in WWE.
Yeah,
she has to stop being happy.
I think that was the moment,
and I hope they keep it going because that is infinitely more interesting than smile wave. Oh, I'm so glad to be here. I've loved wrestling my whole life. Cool, but you're Ronda Rousey. You are legit. Like, yeah, you took your 2 losses and you went home and cried, and everyone makes fun of it. But you're still one of the toughest people in the world, and you need to. It needs to happen. Also on Raw.
Balor.
Point to Asa.
Well, you said that like there was something you wanted. Really
I tried
to
to remember and I couldn't think of anything.
We got the. I don't like the whole like we're getting. It seems like they're lumping Corbin in with McIntyre against Strowman and Angle potentially. Just not a huge fan of what they were doing there, but we'll see how that goes. We got.
Can I just say real quick? I'm gonna pull a movie you. I always forget just how big Drew McIntyre is. Yeah. Because I never remembered him being that big as Drew McIntyre before.
He was always tall, but now he's swole.
He's so swole.
Yeah, because he was always like built,
but he was lean.
But now he's built more.
Yeah. Oh my god! What a just perfect wrestler.
Like he used to just be a tall dude. Now he's built like a brick shit house.
Borderline lanky.
Yeah.
But now he's just
he really filled out.
If you watch WLC and you see him do like front flip over the top rope, you're like, oh man, that guy's like he's a good mix of like big, strong, athletic. Like now it's just like that's a effing monster.
He looks like he would be
slab of meat.
He'd be the final boss in a fighting game.
Yeah, that's
the lady will have seconds, please.
What are you okay?
No, we're talking about. He gives me feelings, Dalton.
They say all men are created equal. When you look at Drew McIntyre and you look at Finn Balor, you see that that's not true.
Oh my God, Vince saying beef over and over again is borderline the most homosexual thing I've ever seen in a wrestling ring.
That's not true. You saw Tozawa do the
I still think that is the most.
We also Rollins announced that he's facing Lesnar. Well, he didn't announce it, but like he attacked Lesnar, got put down with 6 F5s. Already hate that. I also am kind of disappointed that like I was kind of hoping you would be right in that. Oh no, he'll challenge Bryan, and then that can open up Balor Lesnar at Mania, especially after the post-match beatdown that we got at Royal Rumble. Didn't happen, and now it looks like Balor's being kind of moved into which granted things can still change.
Yeah, but WWE is notorious for sticking with the plan.
Yeah, but Balor and Lashley look to be starting a feud.
Hey, that's solid.
Yeah, no, those will be good. Those will be really good matches, and it'll be cool for Balor to seemingly possible get like a big high profile win for the Intercontinental Championship.
And plus, how much do you love the almighty Bobby Lashley?
I love that name. I love that him just standing there letting Leo Rush talk, and he's just posing.
Yeah,
I love it. It's great.
He got rid of the headband.
Because this also,
I can forgive that.
Because this also means that we're probably going to get Balor versus Leo Rush at some point.
Woo! That's gonna be the flippiest match, and I'm gonna love it.
So yeah, that's mostly the stuff from Raw that I wrote down because we talked about Elias's fucking heel turn. SmackDown,
Slap nuts.
we got
Don't piss me off.
the Usos are going to be are the number one contenders for the tag team championships.
That was a cool match.
Whatever the recap that I was reading, they kind of pointed out like they had this whole celebration of Mrs. Dad.
Yes.
For the tag team titles, so is that going to be the turning point where Mrs. Dad loves the Miz so much, but Shane never really got that from Vince, and so Shane's going to be jealous of Miz, and that's where the team's going to implode.
I never even thought about that.
That's amazing.
I don't know, it's kind of weird, especially with the whole like McMahon's are running things now, and that whole. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. That was a neat segment.
It was a good feel-good moment for Miz, too. I was waiting for something to shit on it.
Yeah.
But, like...
No, it was good. It was good.
Hugged his dad, Shane, and the crowd was into it.
And I think but that also could have just been really to establish and cement Miz as a face.
I think so. That's what it was. But the crowd was so into it. Like, normally, in a lot of those segments, when they bring family members stuff in, there's always, like...
a turning point.
And the crowd sometimes isn't into it because they're like, oh, this is hokey.
Yeah.
But this legitimately felt like a feel-good moment.
Yeah, which is neat. We already talked about Becky and Charlotte. R-Truth is the new U.S. champion.
He sure is, Peg.
And then Rusev has now aligned himself with Nakamura.
He sure has.
Kind of hesitantly.
And R-Truth beat both.
In one night. Yeah.
I mean, congrats to R-Truth, because consistently R-Truth is so good.
Which granted...
He's 74. He looks that good.
They did the whole, like, it was a super, like, his shoulder was clearly up.
Yeah.
And they pointed that out on commentary and like in the replays, like the referee made a bad call. But it's pro wrestling, so the referee can't overturn his decision.
Except when he does.
Yeah, except when they decide to.
Because Daniel Bryan's not the GM anymore.
What's up?
But so yeah, R-Truth's the new U.S. champion. That could end up interesting, but we'll see. The
hopefully it doesn't end up next week him losing.
Yeah, well, next week is probably going to be the Good Brothers versus Truth and against Nakamura and Rusev, because they're like, yeah, you can do that. You can beat a guy down after he's wrestled twice, and it's 2-on-1. You can't do that to us because we're the Good Brothers. And then probably said nerd.
And then they go to AEW.
We did get, which has apparently been incredibly divisive in the wrestling community, but I fucking love the new Daniel Bryan's new WWE Championship.
Oh, the
sustainably resourced all organic championship. Because that's the thing that people have been saying on Twitter. It's like, but that championship you're carrying around's got blood diamonds and leather. You know, how can you justify that? Well, now you don't have to. Because Rowan, whose O is now the recycling symbol, I love that.
That's great.
Comes out. They drop the WWE Championship in the trash
where it belongs,
and they pull out the oak plated, because it's it was a fallen tree already, so it's not, they didn't cut down the tree. It's already a tree that had fallen. They took natural earth stone, so there's turquoise and like just chunks of rock instead of the diamonds.
So let me just say,
the strap is sustainably sourced hemp.
Now I will say,
and he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
His shirt said no racism, no homophobia, freedom, love, and peace. And
he's the bad guy.
That belt is one of the ugliest things I've ever seen, and it's perfect.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. So I watch a lot of DIY videos. Like, I was watching a dude make a skateboard out of driftwood and a epoxy resin during the pre-show. That's what I was watching. And I'm just like, man, it would have looked cool if, I think Jesse even said it in the group chat, and I completely agree. They should have ground those stones up and put it in epoxy and did it that way, because then it would have been resin. Because then it would have been shiny. So it still would have been wood, but it also would have been shiny.
I also think they are. I think it's a very deliberate choice that they didn't do that.
It's to piss you off.
That you have the different size, like it's not all uniform. They got the different size chunks of it.
Allie, how much did you love that belt as an Earth lover?
I mean, I think it's great. I think they also didn't do that because shininess doesn't really connect with the look, and the look of a vegan is not very shiny.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dirty. It's pretty in your face.
Yeah.
Have you ever met a vegan who did?
It's in your face, but it's not shiny.
Have you seen
it's
Scott
like
Pilgrim?
Pocket sand.
Jesus Christ! What the hell?
Just a random pocket sand reference.
I missed it. What?
She's like, it's not shiny, but it's in your face like pocket sand.
I am really excited to buy this belt with the Daniel Bryan action figure in a year and a half. Whenever they make it into an elite, people have already started making it.
Fans. Oh, yeah. it's in the creation suite for 2K19.
They have replica belts already, like coming to stores.
Oh, well, it's Wildcat. That's why.
Yeah. Well, no. Like WWE's putting them out. They're exclusive to Romancing the Stone, though.
There it is.
Jesus.
There it is. I loved it. I thought that was hilarious. I know you hate custom belts in general, but
but this works.
Yeah.
Well, it was like
Yeah.
I saw it at first, like that is ugly, and then I looked at it. I'm like, that is hands down borderline the smartest thing that they've ever
This is
done.
this is the new version of the old heel tactic of like Futurama. Like, I'm not from here.
yeah.
I believe it was Cash Borden who posted about the belt, and then
Let's smoke it.
yes,
And then they also announced the Elimination Chamber match because Lesnar's probably not going to be at Elimination Chamber. It's the
That's not one of the
WWE
big
Championship will be defended in the Elimination Chamber match. Daniel Bryan defending against Samoa Joe, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, Mustafa Ali, and is it Rey Mysterio? No, it's not Rey Mysterio. He was in a segment
With Andrade.
Who's the fifth one?
Who's the fifth man?
Ali, Joe, Orton, Hardy,
Styles,
Styles, AJ
Yeah.
Styles. Dear Lord, how did I forget about AJ friggin' Styles?
the gay community.
That's the one.
Needed.
That was the clean one.
So I mean that's going to be a stupid match.
Yeah.
Like I'm incredibly excited to see that, but it is that thing of like, oh, if they just gave him a custom championship just to have him lose it there.
He's not gonna lose it there. I'm thinking Mania.
I honestly don't know. Like I feel like it would not. I don't know.
They've put too much in his stock for him to lose now. Like you said, that custom belt. That is a whole couple of months worth of like replica sales they'd miss out on.
See, but they've done that
need it.
before.
Oh, they did with Kevin Owens.
And
when he was the new face of America.
yeah.
And then he lost almost immediately.
Rated R Superstar Edge. He replaced the spinner with that,
the R.
and then lost it at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Are you guys not like the U.S. title that Cena made?
The spinner belt?
Yeah.
That they continued to use even after he lost it?
No, they changed it back almost the next week.
What was it? Or
No, it was the
title I'm thinking
WWE
of?
spinner belt
Okay,
that they
yeah.
kept forever.
Yeah, it was
they just
the-
eventually locked it in place, so it stopped
Yeah.
spinning.
If you need a belt, if you need that spinner U.S. title belt, I know a guy. He's been trying to get rid of it for years.
I thought it was just the. It was the spinner belt.
It's the
yeah.
spinner belt. And
Damn
it's
it,
signed
Mahoney.
by Crime Time.
I hope Windex would take that off.
And then powering through NXT was amazing. Every match was incredible.
Go watch
out of
the
your
tag match.
Go out of your way to watch all of it.
Yeah.
like
But personal favorite moment of that is the fact that Gargano and Ciampa are friends again, but on the bad side.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. And it's not one of those like, well, why did he turn bad? No, it's...
let them eventually beat the War Raiders. Let them eventually hold all the belts, and then they have to be in every match at Takeover Mania.
Well,
at
don't
the
forget-
Mania Weekend Takeover.
So I'm pretty sure Gargano goes, in drag, wins that women's title. They literally defend every title. And
but then
they go to...
but Shayna Baszler breaks his arm, so every other match he's in is just like real unfortunate.
Then they go to Raw. They win all those titles. They win all the titles.
forever.
They're
They're both
made
just
of-
Ultimo Dragon.
Yeah, just holding every title.
Then the Royal Rumble, I enjoyed that show a lot overall.
I did too. The lack of surprises in the Rumbles themselves kind of bummed me out. I understand why they went with the NXT guys and women.
I'm very bitter. I'm not bitter. I'm bummed that they didn't use Victoria. Like I kind of I thought they would.
Because there
and
was
really
no
hoped they would.
surprises in the women's.
Other than NXT people. Yeah,
Right.
there
At
weren't
least
any legends.
Men's at least got Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
So
and Angle.
Yeah, but Angle's still an active-ish member of the
Yeah.
roster. But Jarrett was out of nowhere.
I also demand half credit for my outlandish prediction from last week because they
Becky
did.
would-
Yeah, but they did it with Nia Jax instead, but they didn't have her win.
That Nia Jax stuff was...
It's amazing.
And I read it. I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to get this out. I read that it was in reply to people like they didn't like that there weren't intergender stuff, and that people were upset about the mixed match challenge where you couldn't like hit
Where
the
there was
opposite.
no, yeah.
So they made a statement by saying, "Okay, well here you go," and then they had Nia Jax toss out Mustafa Ali,
She eliminated Mustafa Ali, yeah.
and then she literally got laid out by like three finishers.
Yeah, they gave her the Strowman treatment
Yeah.
to get rid of her. Super kick, 619, and RKO.
Do you think moving Nia Jax into the men's division is a smart idea?
No.
I kind of do.
No.
Because like they'll never replicate China, obviously.
No, but she would have to be way more dominant in the women's division before they...
I mean, they certainly try to portray her that way. Like I could see them rebuilding her as a man killer, and that's kind of that's never really been done other than China, and to an extent Beth Phoenix.
They could do it, but I also don't think that they're going to... like, this kind of opened the doors to intergender stuff, but I don't think it's going to be a regular thing.
She's
like,
the
by
only one
any
that I could
stretch.
think of that could like looking at her.
Looking at her, but like...
Rhea
once you-
Ripley.
But when you, like... and I mean, Rhea Ripley, yeah, as well. But I mean, I could honestly see Becky Lynch tapping people out.
Yeah.
Like, and I would have no problem believing that.
I agree with you.
Especially when you have guys like Rey Mysterio who
is smaller than Becky Lynch.
Yeah, who have feuds with Brock Lesnar and Big Show and people like that. Like,
but there's still the stigma of. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. There's the stigma of they're women, so they're not going to be as tough. And the only reason that Nia gets a pass is because she's big.
No, yeah, you're absolutely.
And that's bad, but that's true.
Yeah, that's why I think that it's not going to be a regular thing that we're going to see.
Probably for the best.
Also, it's. I'm trying to think of when the last. I think it was just after Charlotte entered the Royal Rumble that we had our last intergender match.
Who
when
was it?
China, when she won because she lost the Intercontinental Championship.
Did you say right after Charlotte?
Yeah, that was right after Charlotte entered the Royal Rumble. Because Charlotte's been in the Royal Rumble for she's been in the Royal Rumble longer than any other competitor.
That just got to me.
Yeah.
Christ.
From a mile away.
The number one person is still in the ring. Ember Moon had been in there longer, but let's talk about how long Charlotte's been in the Rumble.
I mean, if you want
17 times.
If you want to get serious, Curtis Axel has been in there for how many years now?
No, that was Wrestlemania. They retconned that real quick.
They retconned it. Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Rumble was fun though.
Yeah.
Rumble was fun.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Balor Lesnar match was good. Even though Balor
I enjoyed
died.
it a lot.
Yeah.
Balor
the offense was fun.
got him right in the diverticulitis.
He did hard.
So many times.
Which Rollins then went to, so that kind of opened up, I guess, the opening weak point.
Asuka versus Becky was good.
Was really good.
Ronda versus Sasha was good. I thought it was good. It wasn't my favorite match, but I thought it was good.
I don't know. It just didn't really click with me, I don't think.
Not as much as the Becky Asuka, for sure. But Becky coming out and taking Carmella's spot. And what I loved about that, by the way, was
taking Lana's spot.
Oh, Lana, yeah, sorry. Not only did she take her spot, but she didn't do it in that heelish way where she beats her up and then goes in. It made sense that Lana was hurt and couldn't do it, and she pleaded her case. Hey, you need someone to go.
And then Finlay just and
the fact that they're both Irish, and I'm pretty sure she said,
I'm Irish.
Yeah, so Finlay gave it the okay, but then it made it stupid because Nia Jax then just lays out our truth and just goes in, and there's no discussion. It's just, that's just happened. Why didn't Becky just then go into the ring?
Right.
Why didn't she just be like, I'm taking her spot now, bye?
The only thing I can figure is that since, no, because maybe Nia Jax was never legally counted, but if she wasn't legally counted, then Mustafa Ali shouldn't have been legally taken out. Although, to be fair,
but they do that all the time where no matter what happens, even if it's an eliminated person, he went over the top rope.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, it's
Major also points to Mandy Rose for after Naomi. This is the only time I've loved the super save and then someone knocks her out immediately. When Naomi did her Kofi Kingston-esque, I survived, and then Mandy Rose immediately eliminated her. That was good. I thought that was good.
Yeah, but then they did that 2 more times in the Rumble, or 3 more, where you have
the American Ninja Warrior girl,
Catanzaro.
Yeah.
Which hers was the most impressive one of the night, hands down.
Yeah.
But handstand and then spidering her way up the post.
But Naomi's
and then you have
actually had weight to it.
Yeah, hers had a storyline reason behind it, but that doesn't change the fact that they then did it 3 more times. You have Catanzaro, then you have Elias kind of doing the unique wrapped around the turnbuckle, and then Rollins smashes his fingers.
Well, then also Kofi and then
Kofi's
Xavier.
Really overdone.
Didn't Kofi do it twice?
Kofi did it twice. He did the hands. He did the hand walk again, and then he did the.
He rode Xavier.
He rode Xavier in a really awkward.
Sounds weird.
That one. It cracked me up just to see Xavier's face or Kofi's face of, oh shit, that worked.
Also, it was on a personal note. It was so much fun that we were literally hanging out with Hornswoggle. Saturday.
Yeah.
We were hanging out. I had a 5-6 minute discussion with him about the Muppets, and it was my favorite part of the night. And then the next day, there he is in
the Royal Rumble.
Although, like Brian Zane said, again, bringing back Wrestling with Regret, it was odd to see this Hornswoggle with long hair and a tan, dressed up as the leprechaun. Little awkward. And that dude is tan.
It's been sunny in Ireland lately.
Shite.
Last couple. Well, he spent kind of the overcast weather here in Cape just roasted him.
Burned him.
Yeah, because he's Irish. It's that fair skin.
We burn easily.
Exactly.
It's true.
It's lucky he didn't get burned. He just had a great tan. But yeah, and I love that. I love Zelina Vega just hiding under the ring.
Oh, I love Zelina Vega.
Her actively pointing and laughing at Dana Brooke, and that's when he comes out.
Her coming out dressed as Vega. Holy shit, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much of the crowd got it, and how much of them were like, it's Wolverine.
It's half Wolverine with a mask. With a Court Owls mask.
God damn it. I hate the world.
But yeah, overall, Royal Rumble was fun. I feel like the results were predictable, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
No.
I would have preferred to have like a surprise and
Mustafa Ali winning.
Yeah, or like Mustafa Ali winning, something like that, or Balor winning his match against Lesnar.
My other favorite part of it was definitely when Ali eliminated Joe. And
Yeah.
the look on Joe's face, like,
It's like, oh, here's the blood feud, because that's what
Yeah,
I said
and
before
you
the
said
show.
it,
I was
yeah.
like, Joe's the kind of person who, like, once he's eliminated, that would start the blood feud.
I think the fact
And then
that
the look on his face. Yep, called it.
the fact that it came down to Becky and Charlotte and Seth and Braun kind of took it out for me because it's obvious.
Yeah.
The obvious answer is obvious.
Yeah.
But it was well enough done. I thought it was a good show. It was a good show.
Yeah, overall, it was a lot of fun.
We were going to talk about CCW this week, but we are way past
Yeah,
our allotted
I'm
time.
hungry.
So let's save it for next week.
CCW was a lot of fun, though.
It was, and we
Life-
have a lot of personal stories to tell because,
Yeah.
believe it or not, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you'll know how we started and you know where we are now when it comes to CCW.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of personal stories to tell, including ridiculous ass beatings,
Thanks.
first time live commentary. Allie got smelled by Damone, which is super awkward.
So glad that
Is on
is
air.
my memory thing.
And I got glass thrown at me, and amongst other things. So we'll talk about all that next week on Pro Wrestling Unscripted.
Because I feel like we can't have this big of a news week again.
in
a row.
and we can't cover CCW without going another 30-45 minutes. That's going to put us well over 2 hours.
Also, there is a benefit
all
show in Stride
Yep.
this Saturday, West Frankfurt School.
Let us mention that. That looks like a stacked card.
Yeah.
Dalton, you're going to pull
I'm
that
going to
up
that
real
one.
quick?
I'm finally getting to go back to Stride.
I want to go, but of course this week Allie has to work.
Mm-hmm.
So unless I just want to skip out on Allie, which I hate doing because we're kind of a package deal.
You could always just ride with me.
You could,
I know, but we're a package deal.
but I'm wrestling.
I mean, I saw what happened the last time you wrestled.
Oh.
Guy smashed a damn.
Yeah, go to Stride's Facebook page for the
Lord
details
over
for
your
the
head.
show this Saturday, but it's in West Frankfurt. It'll be a good
Dalton,
time.
you're teaming up with Dexter Roswell,
Yeah,
the handsome, bloody. No, not bloody in Stride.
No,
is he?
not this one.
Central School. Never mind.
Go check Stride's page.
Yeah, go to
Get
Stride's
the
Facebook
details.
page and
but
we'll get the
Dalton is
details
going
there.
after the tag titles with Dexter Roswell versus Billy Hills and
Title-
Scott
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Titles versus hair match.
Yeah.
Dalton, I'm going because I want to see Dalton get shaved.
Yeah, because I got to, we got to cut his hair a couple months ago, but just
Not
a little
enough.
bit, just
Not
a little
enough.
bit, just a little off top. This might be if Sadie cried last time, she's gonna go full on My Chemical Romance tomorrow.
I heard
on Saturday.
Billy and I were talking about this, and he's gonna go. He's gonna hold the ponytail
Right.
to make him think that's where he's going first. He's going straight for the beard.
I'll kill him.
Hey,
He's
that's
going for
hair.
he's going for the beard, and then, he's gonna be like Mr. Clean.
Oh, he's gonna look like Danny DeVito.
He's gonna look like Bobby Lashley.
He's gonna look like Frank
I
Reynolds.
must be pure.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see that as your new entrance. Just crawling in hand sanitizer.
just like a
Pure.
slug leaving a trail behind
If
him.
you thought Jeff Odell was mad at Jackson,
Oh, okay.
wait until he gets a hold of you.
Real quick, I'm gonna do this so fast. Patreon.com/Podzilla1980. Nope, I already fucked it up.
Podzilla,
You do it. You always do it.
Podzilla1985.com for any of the back episodes. Facebook.com/Podzilla1985.
Interact with us.
Yeah, talk
Make
to
us songs.
Patreon.com/Podzilla1985.
Oh, shit, so it
And
was right.
yeah,
Shit.
Podzilla1985.com. Those are the three big ones. Check us out. Yeah, bye.
Tickets go on sale for Cape Tips Wrestling this Friday, 5:45. Stride on set.
February 1st. Stride.
day?
Yeah, Stride this Saturday in West Frankfurt. Check out Stride's Facebook page for the details there. Hopefully we will see you guys there.
And we'll see you next week on Pro Wrestling Unscripted and tomorrow for Podzilla After Dark. You guys have a great night. Later.